I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. and today I'm reviewing Confusing Lands from Envy Born Games and Zach, whose name I'm not going to try to pronounce because I don't want to butcher it. Zach, I apologize. This is Confusing Lands. This is from Envy Born Games. They've done a bunch of other games. The one I particularly enjoyed was Sirens. It was on crowdfunding, Kickstarter last year. I guess it's 2024 now, so it was on crowdfunding last year, and looking forward to when that one delivers. But in the meantime, we have Confusing Lands, which I believe is a direct-to-retail or pre-order one. I don't believe this is going to crowdfunding, but I'll have all the relevant links down below. But let's go ahead and review this, because this is, for the record, in a prototype form. Let's go ahead and try to balance that. The box in particular does not like to open unless I literally try to pry it out, like, whatever. Anyways, prototype stuff going on. But this over here, let's go ahead and talk about this game and how it plays. This is a two-player game. I believe there is a solo mode. It says 2 players, but I recall there being a solo mode in the box. I have not played the solo mode. I have played this 2 players. You're going to take one card and throw it off to the side. That's not actually what you're supposed to do, but that's what I do because it's easier than, well, the alternative is to just play until there's one card left. So I just get rid of that card early on. Anyways, past that, we're going to go ahead and set up one of these cards over here and put this card as our general public goal. In this case, our goal is going to be mountains on the edge of the map. So all players who have mountains on the edge of the map are going to get 3 points per mountain. That's free points for you. The relevance of the free points part is going to come into play soon, because now we're going to go ahead and pass you 2 cards, and I'm going to play both these people because I'm going to take a look at my 2 cards and I'm going to start my grid. The basic idea over here is you're going to be placing a grid, your own personal little tableau, and your first card's free, but your second one has to go somewhere over the other card. You have to go over another card, and if you choose to add a scoring goal to your card, you can never cover that scoring goal, neither partially nor completely. You cannot cover a scoring goal once it's there. So again, first card goes on the map, plain and simple, the board, the table, whatever. Second card goes onto another card, has to in some way overlay another card, but cannot overlay scoring goals. Okay, the rules are so far pretty straightforward, although I do wonder. I could see a hypothetical now. You see, now over here. No, I can't. No, you can't do it. For a second, I was like, maybe you can create a situation where you have to have cards overlapped. I wonder if you can create a situation in which you literally cannot legally play a card. But we're not going to focus on that right now. We're gonna be all grown up about this. There must be. Here, I'm gonna do this now. I'm gonna do this, okay? Because if we do this like so, if we play our next card like so, and then our next card, if we find more of these cards like so, that's all legal plays so far. And then our next card like where? There's gotta be one more over here like so. I have no more legal placements. I just discovered that. That's very unlikely for that to ever happen, but I was very proud of myself for figuring that out right now. Not the point. The point is your first card goes on the table, your second card goes on top of it, unless, except for not covering scoring goals, okay? The reason for that is because scoring goals are worth negative points at first. Every time you play a scoring goal, you are giving yourself 10 negative points, which means unless you can get at least 10 points from that, then you're going to score negative points. Basically, if you get 8 points from a scoring goal, but you score 10 negative points, then you're scoring 2 negative points in total. But if you can get 20 points from a scoring goal, minus the 10 negative points, then you score 10 points. Basically, anytime you play a scoring goal, you want to be ensuring that you're getting at least 10 points from it, because 10 points is literally the break-even part. Otherwise, choose the other half of the card that doesn't have any of those issues, and just play it down. Now, meanwhile, going back to my hand of cards over here, I'm going to look at these cards and see what they have. We have no mountains on this side. Don't forget, we want mountains on the edge of the board. We have a mountain on this side. Maybe I play it safe and just place a mountain, or I can look at the scoring goals. 6 points for every pair of predator and prey, or 3 points for everything on my largest terrain of mountains, forest. So I'm going to start that one off. That's a fun one to get nice and early. I'm sure I can get some force over there. Meanwhile, my opponent over here, they went ahead and drafted their card, and they passed me this card. I passed them my card, because every round with your person you're playing with, you're going to draw 2, pick 1, pass 1. So every cycle, you're picking 1 and getting the other person's rejects. Meanwhile, over here, I have another mountain if I want it. I have a mountain on this side. I'm not going to get too many scoring goals this early on, although this one does reward me for mountains. Ooh, maybe. This one could complement nicely with this, so I think I will go with this one. I think I'm going to go ahead and place this like so, a little out of the way, but effectively, this one's going to give me a point for every mountain, forest, and village. So I'm already at 3 points from this. If I can get more by the end of the game, we should be rosy. So let's continue. I'm going to draw 2 more cards myself, 2 more cards for my opponent. I want that card so badly. He's definitely taking this card. 3 mountains on the edge of his grid. You know, actually, let's go ahead and build his terrain, but without too much thought. We're going to put that down to his terrain. This one was from last turn. They're not going to go for scoring goals. They're a little unoriginal that way. Meanwhile, to my turn, I did get this card over here, which has 1, 2, 3. That's going to be helpful as well. I think we could. This one's going to reward me, no, for different things. I don't want that one. This rewards me for our longest straight line on the board, which could be helpful to a degree. I wonder if the longest straight line might be better, or alternatively just go for the 2 mountains on the edge of the grid. Let's go for the 2 mountains on the edge of the grid. Let's not get too, what's the right word for it? Not caught up, but too There's got to be a word here. Hubris, certain of myself. I don't know. We're going to pass my opponent this card. We're going to take this card over here. They continue to build their thing. And I have over here, ooh, this one could be a fun one. That's 2 points for every section of planes in my largest section of planes, which could be helpful. Maybe. I don't know. Like over here, we got our mountains on the edge of the grid. We have our forest over here that we want. We could just do this side over here. We'll get 2 points for that. I think right now, if I place this out over here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already. Oh, this could be good, but then I have to go ahead and build over that. I don't want to do this. It's gonna be hard to actually get. You know what? We're gonna be playing in. No, I want it. We're gonna do this. We're gonna put this over here like so. Okay. We're gonna try to build this out more this way, but we got our forest. We got our mountain edge of the grid. We're still doing great. Keep in mind, you're not actually gonna have that many cards over here. Did I do the wrong amount of cards? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I throw out? I threw out a card, which is intentional. There's one in the box. I was missing one in the box because. Whatever, don't worry about it. Anyway, so back to this over here. So we're going to go ahead and take these 2 cards over here. I'm going to pass these over here. And again, I wish I had this one over here. But nonetheless, we'll take a look at my cards. What do we have? We got these over here and we got those. That could be a fun one, but we're going to ignore that for right now. Let's go ahead and grab this to build up my largest section of forest while also expanding my plains over here because, again, that's with 2 points each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're already at positive points for that. That's great. We're going to pass it to my opponent. He's going to take this because it denies me for whatever reason. And we're going to take this one over here where we can go ahead and, I want to get more plains, but I also want to expand my forest, and I want to get the thing out on the edge of the... so many decisions, so many decisions. I could do this like so, which will give me a mountain on the edge. It won't help me with the forest, but honestly, the 2 points from this over here being expanded is helpful-ish. But the problem with that is then I can't really expand it more. I guess I could expand it that way. We're good. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to find out whatever he does for his grid. And then we're going to take this. This is fun. I'm going to go ahead and take this one. And we're going to go ahead and put this continuing to expand my grid. Because I think that's what makes the most sense at this point. So we're going to go ahead and place that like so. And continuing to expand my giant area of plains. Last round coming into play. We're going to go ahead and have these 2 over here. And again, I'm going to pass 2 to myself, 2 to my opponent. And I'll take these and I'll look at what I have. So we have these card symbols over here. This is going to score me for my largest grid. My largest square on the board with no scoring goals, which could be helpful. If I did this over here, that's already a 4x4. That's already a 16-point bit over there, but I have to cover something. I can't do no scoring goals, so I could do this, which would give me not as large, but I will have something else come my way, so I might be able to go for a 5x5 depending on how I do it. I might be able to do that. That's interesting. That's interesting. What do we have over here? We have this one over here, this tree situation. I think going for the largest grid and most scoring goals might just be the way to go over here. It's going to be interesting to try to, if I do this like so over here, and then I simply overlay this card like so, then I'm expanding that. We're going to do this way. We're going to do this way. I should be able to do this. We're going to lose that point, but that's fine. I'm going to pass to my opponent. Whichever card he passes me, I should inherently be able to overlay it, and I do so like so over here. I'll look at the scoring goal just in case. It's 4 points for every river next to a mountain. That was going to be 1 over here. So that was going to be actually, ironically, this would score me. Well, it wouldn't score me for this one if I cover it. You know what? No, we're gonna stick with my original plan over here. We're gonna do this like so, and there you go. That's my grid. By the way, this is easily going to be my highest scoring game I've ever played. Partially because I'm playing with a fictional opponent who doesn't care, and partially because, of course, that's what happens. We're on camera right now. Let's go and score this out and see how this scores. Because right now I get the following. I get 3 points for every mountain on the edge of my grid. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all on the edge of my grid. That's 15 points. I get 2 points for every plains in my largest section of plains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 26 points plus my 15 is going to bring me to 41. 26 plus 15, 41 points. 41 points. I have 3 points for every section of trees in my largest section of trees. It's only 12, so 41 brings me to 53. I have 1 point for every tree, mountain, and hut, so that's 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, and then 1 point for every section without a scoring thing in my largest square. So basically it's a 5x5 square is what I have. So that's going to be 25 points plus my 67 brings me to 72, 92 points. Minus 10 points for every one of my scoring goals. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my 92 drops me to 52, and that is my highest scoring game of Confusing Lands I've played so far. I feel good about myself, even though it wasn't real. But that's basically how you play the game. You're going to be drafting and building out your grid. You have 18 cards. 1 card is the public scoring goal. 1 card off to the side. The other 9 cards is going to be 9 cards per person. Did I use only 9 cards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I just want to make sure I did it correctly because I cheated on camera. Anyways, that's basically how you play Scoring Lands over here, which means it's time for my review. This has been a little all over the place, but that's okay. I didn't do any notes for this one because this is a small box game. In fact, this game, when the creator reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to review Confusing Lands? I said, yes, I would like to reviews of Confusing Lands, but I can't guarantee I do a dedicated review on this game. Very often with small box games, I'll do a roundup review. I'll do like, hey, a bunch of small box games. I think I have a little jingle for it. It's if you don't have 20s, almost a seconds. If you don't have 20 minutes to watch a full review, if you're not looking for a how to play or an hour-long playthrough, and let's be honest, when the interest is a little lower too, that's why we have 6 small box games for you. I like the jingle, and usually it's because they're small box games that I don't need to do a review for every single game, a dedicated review, and very often there's less interest in them. But I like this game. Like, I like it a lot. It's a lot of fun. And so I want to talk about it. I want to tell you about the game. So I decided to do a dedicated review on this one because I like it a lot. Let's talk about what I like, why I like this game. But the most basic idea is it has card overlaying, which is a mechanic I generally like, but don't always find well executed. One of my favorite games that does it well is a game called Sprawlopolis, another 18-card game. But in general, this one gives it in a really good system as far as how it works. The restrictions are present, so it feels like it matters. It's not so restrictive that it feels frustrating. There's a lot of freedom to try to score points. These scoring goals, the fact that there's 18 different scoring goals, again, going back to Sprawlopolis, similar idea where every card is not just a way to score points, but is also a scoring goal, but a different implementation. It's not this is present. It actually reminds me of Chomp and Sprawlopolis to a degree. They have that same overlapping cards, scoring goal system as far as just a fun 2-player head-to-head game where you're drafting cards, being mindful of your opponent. Again, there's a solo mode, haven't played that, but you are being mindful of your opponent, what's on their grid, because in a 2-player game, whatever they score is points that count against you effectively. There's only one winner here, so if you can deny them points, that's part of the game, which means sometimes you're going to sit there and say, you want force, well I have this card that has a bunch of force, a nice clump over here, that's 9 straight points for you, instead I'm going to turn that into a scoring goal and get another few points for myself. Even if it's not the best card for me, I have to deny you there. And so there's a lot of strategic play, both in terms of looking at your own grid and looking at your opponent's. The fact that you get those 9 cards across the course of the game is a decent amount of real estate on the board. Granted, you can easily make bigger games or bigger like overlays. There are a lot of games that use this mechanic, and I do enjoy that overlapping cards mechanic, but I find this one gives you a lot of flexibility for how you're trying to score, a lot of flexibility for how you're trying to optimize around that card placement as you place them into your tableau and grid. Well, again, the variability is the big part, the different ways you combine, because in any given game, you're going to have the 1 public scoring goal, and then I'd say between 2 to 4 private scoring goals. I haven't seen more than 4, I haven't seen less than 2. I'd say between 2 and 4 private scoring goals. That means you have 5, a maximum of 5 out of the 18 possible goals in every single game, and the way those combine, the way these cards lay over each other, there's a lot of flexibility and variability with simplicity and accessibility. That's a lot of things that end in E, but that's true. There's a lot of things that end in E that contribute to how enjoyable this game is. Small box, very accessible, good for travel size. I do wish it were in a wallet. Like, a wallet literally fits in anything. This is a little bigger than that. I wish it were a wallet-sized game, but that is a solvable problem. Just get your hands on an extra little wallet and put it in there. But it's a delightful, charming little point-scoring optimization game for 2 players that plays in, like, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, depends on their 10 to 15 minutes for the game. Very accessible, very rewarding, very enjoyable. As far as things I don't like in the game, I don't know if there's that much. The iconography, I'd say, is not that intuitive. I mean, I know it now, but there's only 18 cards. It doesn't take that long to memorize. I would say for me, the first game, every single card I had to reference the rulebook. Nothing was like, okay, great, I know what this does. Well, 1 or 2 I had assumptions about, but most of the iconography on how these scoring goals work, like this one over here, is you get 4 points for every crystal that's not in the same row or column and not touching another crystal. Which is, I mean, granted, I know that now, but you'd never know that from the iconography. So you do have to reference the rules the entire time your first playthrough, and it's a little bit of information overload that first time, but from there, the only real complaint is I want more. I want more cards, I want more expansions. I love how Button Shy does this little, like, here's 18 cards, but here's little expansion packs. Hey, NV Born Games, can you put out a bunch of expansion packs for this with more rules, more configurations? You can throw new terrain types, throw in some water and create, like, well, I guess there's lakes. Throw in giant full-on lakes, and I don't know, the stuff you can do with this. There's a lot of things you can do with this, but I thought this was really well done in the wallet-sized or a small box accessible card game format. I really enjoy this one a lot. As far as things you don't like, the biggest thing past the iconography that I'd be cautious of is I said that I can appreciate how in a 2-player game, if I deny you points, that's good for me, and so that's a strategic aspect, but also I'll acknowledge that that's not always a feel-good moment. If I'm playing to build my best landscape and you're playing to deny me points, congratulations, you won, but both of us had a little less fun. So it does depend on who you're playing with. I do encourage you, depending on who you're playing with, either focus on just building your own landscape or focus on tearing them apart. Depends on how they're going to treat you effectively, but that's the biggest caveat I'd give. As far as, I mean, if you like this kind of game, the biggest caveat I'd give is that potential attrition that exists in a 2-player point scoring optimization puzzle. That's basically it. As far as final thoughts on this one, I like it a lot. It's a lot of fun. It's very accessible, very easy to table, small form factor. Rules are 6 minutes. Everything about this game is charming, accessible, easy to play. Highly encourage you get this one if you like any of this. If anything here appealed to you, I think this is a game you'll really enjoy. Highly recommend checking it out. For me, it's a 4.5 out of 5. It's that good. It's a 4.5 out of 5. I want to play it again. Like, even right now, I'm happy to just do my own little puzzle and try scoring again. It's just fun to do. This is a fun... I should read the solo rules. I should do that. 4.5 out of 5. Really like this one. Confusing Lands from Envy Born Games. If you're looking for other game recommendations, I'm going to give you 3 this time, because I mentioned 2 of them already. But first of all, Sprawlopolis. If you like this game, check out Sprawlopolis. It very much feels in the same universe, just Sprawlopolis is more of a solo game that happens to have a 2-player mode. This is more of a 2-player game. I don't even want to say that... I'm going to say it happens to have a solo mode, because... the rules have it, but this... do the rules have it? I'm pretty sure I saw a solo thing in the rules. Let me go ahead and find this here. Solo play variant, but it's not listed on the box, so, I don't know. Take it for what you will. But I'll say Chomp as well from All Play. Similar idea, overlaying cards, point scoring optimization. That one's more competitive than Sprawlopolis is, but that's another one that you should check out. And then the one thing I'd say that another game that has a vibe similar to this one is Lost Cities. From Reina Knizia, Lost Cities has a similar aspect where before you commit to something, you're going to start with negative points. So you really want to make sure you're actually going to get positive, because every time you commit to a new expedition, you get negative 20 points. Very similar vibes to how in Confusing Lands, you can get all these points all the time, but you have to commit to those things, and there's a desire to overcommit to everything, but if you do that, you'll score a few points here, a few points there, and end up with negative 60 points and lose the game. So you really want to focus. I think if you like that kind of puzzle, Lost Cities has that as well, and vice versa. That's basically it. That has been your review of Confusing Lands from Envy Born Games. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you found this video helpful, and as always, I hope you have a good one.